What we want is a description of Nibiru, where it's at in our galaxy. People need to know. They call it wormwood, and so when I look,
the Bible called it wormwood. That's all they could refer it to because it looks like wormwood would look.
Yeah.
You know, it's got the lines going around it. It looks like, you know, you've seen wormwood, right?
Yes.
Okay, that's why in Revelations it says wormwood because that's all they could refer it to. They had nothing else to refer it to.
Now its orbit it's far out. What is it to compare?
It's between right now. It's 3,600.
Okay. Now
that's 1 year to them.
How
and
big?
it takes 18 to get here, 18 to get back.
Now it being so far out with such an orbit, how big is it?
It's 5 times the size of Earth.
So
just the planet Nibiru. Now it's got satellites and it's got Nemesis. Nemesis is not Nibiru. Nemesis is the dwarf sun that Nibiru orbits. I mean, it's actually just with them. All right, and there's a 20 million mile iron tail that follows them. That's why it's called the winged planet.
So that's where it's getting its weight from. You know, we found that we can't explain all of our gravitational pull towards our star. There's something we feel, you know, and scientists have talked about this, that pulls Earth away from the sun as much as the sun pulls Earth towards it. There's something heavy in our solar system. We can't explain
it. It's perturbing all the planets. It's not just us. It's every planet. Every planet, you know, we are experiencing greenhouse effect, heating the planet heating up, and they're blaming it on, you know, not.
Now with that,
every planet's doing it.
I've seen stuff where
Neptune to Uranus to,
you know, we know Jupiter is going crazy. Its electromagnetic field is actually overriding ours to a point. You can feel that in the sun. Today was 80 degrees, and when you was out in the sun, it felt like you were under a magnifying lens.
I know exactly what you're saying because it went from comfortable to uncomfortable hot.
Yeah, it's like somebody moved the sun closer to my face. It's shit, you know.
You noticed that too.
Yeah,
huh?
yeah.
We all did. Actually,
we've been noticing it more here lately, and probably the past decade. But here in the past 4 or 5 years, it's been getting worse, and that's part of what we understand with the magnetic field of the Earth being disrupted by Jupiter. But there's something causing Jupiter to go crazy.
They're all going crazy. All the planets are perturbed right now. Something's going on.
Another thing is the halo around our moon. There's a ring around our moon.
I know that halo. And the only, you know what? I mean, they got, you know, everybody's got their theory, but it's kind of like doesn't it kind of remind you of an eclipse a little bit?
It does. Right. It's like something's behind it shining around.
Right, exactly. Okay, good.
But now, does Nibiru have any moons?
5 moons.
5 moons. Are they bigger than our moon, or do they just range in size?
They range in size, but it comes with 5 moons, and it comes with a 20 million mile iron oxide meteor. And that's why,
now, I have heard that it pushes a meteor storm towards us and also pulls its own.
Right. And that's why it's called the winged planet, okay, the winged disc or whatever. I mean, if you go back and look at what the Egyptians say, you know what I mean. This planet is in every culture. I promise you, even the Mayans, Chinese, they all have it.
Okay, sun. What do they feed off of our sun?
No, our sun is no help. Well, I mean, of course, when they get close to it. All right, but they heat up, you know. But their atmosphere is monoatomic gold. Okay, so they heat up. They got their own. The planet generates its own heat, and that's why they came here to mine the gold, so they could, because their atmosphere was fading.
Now, is their sun the size of our sun?
No, smaller.
It's small. Would it be
a lot smaller?
Maybe the size of Jupiter or a little bit bigger? Because Jupiter, like I say, we know is a failed star. Or it's a star that's at some point in its future will become a star.
It's a gas giant. It's a gas planet right now. I mean, you'd have to go, to actually hit solid ground, you'd have to go a million miles into it too.
Well, the pressure can build up enough on a planet, a gas giant like Jupiter, to where it causes an atomic reaction just from the gravity finally compressing everything down, just like an atom bomb, and it will cause an instantaneous growth of energy across that planet, which is what will ignite it to turn it into a star. And that's all done by just continually getting heavier and heavier. But now, the Nibiru, do they use their moons as, they're like
They're called
big
satellites.
bases?
They're called satellites. Yeah, they got bases on them. But they're, like I said, Mars is a huge base for them. And it's going to be for us too, because Elon Musk is going to make sure of it. He wants to get there so bad because he knows.
Now, we know Nibiru is occupied by the Anunnaki.
And Igigi.
And Igigi.
The
So it's two
Igigi
different
are
species?
The Igigi are the pilots of the spaceships, and they're the ones that actually... Anunnaki is those from heaven who came. That's what that means, okay? So the Anunnaki are pretty much royalty, okay? The Igigi are the ones that actually do the work around there. And they were doing the work here till they revolted, right? And, they held Yahweh captive and was going to kill him.
Now,
until Lucifer came up with a plan.
Are they human size?
No, they're bigger. They're anywhere from 7 feet to 12 feet. But the average Anunnaki would be 7 feet, 7 to 8 feet. They're bigger than us. They got, a lot of them have 6 fingers on each hand. Just like the Hopi Indians, they're the ones that, to greet them, you had to go like this. How? Remember, anyone? They was counting your fucking fingers. Because if you had 6 fingers, they were going to kill you.
Okay. So,
and they got double rows of teeth.
Now, we're trying to discuss the properties of Nibiru. What's the gravity on that planet? I mean, is it similar to Earth? Is it lighter than Earth? Is it heavier? I mean...
Well, everybody on Nibiru is very muscular. So I can only guess that. It's got to be, their gravity's got to be a little bit heavier than us because if you even look at all the sculptures that the Sumerians did and put it on, they're all ripped.
Yeah.
All of them.
Well, they have their own star. I know that, Mars, you're lighter than you are on Earth. On the moon, the same way. But with them having their own star, I guess, I guess it's up in the air on that other than just being they're stronger. But, how does that affect them when they're on Earth? If they're fighting a harsher gravity, that means they're super strong compared to us.
Well, yeah, they are. But also, our gravity ages them a lot quicker. Now, they're still not going to die. They're immortal, okay? But they started getting wrinkled. After, a few thousand years, they were noticing themselves getting wrinkled. That's because we rip one around the sun so fast. It takes them 3,600 years to get around the sun 1 year. So they were starting to age real quick. So they had to start snorting the gold. And that's what they were doing, snorting the monoatomic gold. It was like their cocaine. Yeah. And it kept their... actually, I would like to try it.
Yeah, I don't,
But if you notice all the Anunnaki, they all had a little hand. If you look at all their sculptures, they're all carrying something. Okay, they're all carrying something, and you see they all have wristwatches on. And this shit was carved into stone 6,000 years ago.
Probably bracelet.
That to me sounds almost like a life meter, and they deal with time that way. They regenerate. God knows what kind of technology.
It could be.
Something like that would have.
I wouldn't dispute that. That could be. They're like.
If they're similar in physiology, they probably have arteries like we do. It's measuring every part of their body. I mean, now we have a thing where you can stick 4 of your fingers on it, and it gives you a readout of your blood pressure, your EKG. They sell them to hook to your phone, and you can push that thing. You're having a heart attack, go to the hospital. So we've progressed. God knows what they have. Now, like I was trying to say earlier, when I hear wormwood, it's almost like you imagine, and I've seen some depictions of it where it's like big gaseous vents that come out and go back into each other with the way their system works. But maybe that's just something crazy in my head. But there's obviously something weird about their planet.
They're all albinos.
Because
they can't. They don't have a sun, so they're all very white skin, and they all have kinky hair. The women are very voluptuous. They're
Now, I don't know if you've seen it. Today I had read a few articles about this ancient tablet found in Mayan country. They're building a big railroad through there. They hit some kind of cave, And when you look at the tablet, it looks like the cuneiform, but
I saw that.
it also has pictures of what is nothing like what people you see on Earth, but there's a flying saucer on something.
And also
we're looking at something 17,000 years old, and it depicts this cone-shaped head race of beings with a flying saucer around it, and they're doing all kinds of weird things in the pictures. But it's a tablet. They found it. God knows it hadn't been long ago, and it's just. Like I say, they're starting to release more and more of this stuff. We're starting to see it.
I saw the documentary on it, and I was amazed because I mean these hieroglyphs. And it was what was strange about it is because it not only had hieroglyphs like Egypt, you know how they make pictures. It also had cuneiform text. So that right there showed me that something had met back then.
Well, you know, it's funny. I've always I have considered too. Once I kind of started looking into Nibiru and what it was. We have our galaxy and it's spiraling. You hold it up in a circle right here, and I believe that Nibiru is in the middle and it's going in and out of our galaxy.
Well, Nibiru.
But I also believe that could only work if there was another galaxy beside it that it was also going in and out of.
Okay, Nibiru wasn't always in our solar system. They were part of the Orion Empire. Okay, that's why the belt, Orion's belt. That's where they originated from. They got bumped into our galaxy from. They weren't part of it. I mean, they're part of the galaxy. Yeah, they were, but part of our solar system, they weren't. They got bumped into it. Okay.
Well, what in the hell's going to bump a galaxy or a planet and a star?
Something big. And Lucifer was the reason for it happening, so it was big.
Maybe it was some type of weapon detonated, or.
I mean, you got to understand the genius of him. I mean, where he went crazy is he let ambition get the best of him. I mean, we wouldn't be here without him, but there's been times where I'm like. Because I got into the Nibiru thing, like 8 years ago. And I'm like, I was convinced it was coming the next year back then. You know what I mean? Because all the doomsayer, or what are they called? Preppers, or...
Well, 2012 it really picked up. The Mayan calendar, people had picked on it. And, so it was really spreading hard then.
Well, no,
And what I've never understood about that is if they're here with us, if they breathe our atmosphere, why not just take over this planet and populate it with their own? Or
well, they can't. They got rules. They have rules. They got rules they have to abide by. And the number one universal rule is free will. Okay? As hard as they try to get around that little pesky law. But if they break it, they got serious consequences. They can't fuck with our free will. Okay, and that's why, when they say you sell your soul to the devil, you know what I mean? You no longer have free will. That's how, and that's, they tempt you with money, they give you all this. And there's no devil, okay? It's not the devil you're selling your soul to. You're selling your soul to a thing, an industry. But you will sign a contract and but there's no devil. His name's Marduk, and he is...
So at some point we have to look at the fact that perhaps what we've seen in history, let's just say some guy got inspired by Superman because some being floated down. It was, superhuman, but, that's how we've interpreted it in the past.
Superman?
Ain't saving shit, girl. You can jump on Shady's dick.
Superman, this is how Superman views us. Okay? For him to fit in with us, because we're so subhuman to him, he has to act like some dorky guy to fit in with us. When he's actually, he could wipe us out in a second if he wanted to. But what he thinks of us is exactly who Clark Kent is. Some dorky guy that's just bumbling around.
Okay. They kept up on that oil.
Now,
but you're right. Something has to inspire that. Some people get channeled shit. Like, Gene Roddenberry, Star Trek, okay? That shit's coming true almost. I mean, shit that happened 50 years ago in Star Trek is shit's happening now, I mean, we're not, hitting, but the the planet Vulcan, I mean, they're actually Actually, like there is that's possible, very possible. So Gene Roddenberry got some inside information somewhere.
Now, do the people, you know, I know there's technology differences. I wonder about simple things like food. I mean, can they eat earth food? Do they actually
We
use...
wouldn't. Our food we get is because of them. Corn, apples, fruit. Yeah, everything we get is because of them. All of our
But
animals.
do they take part of it? You know, I mean, all this stuff we say we send to Africa, hell, we might just be sending it in the mirror.
No, they don't need our food. They don't need our food.
Well, I'm
they need
pretty
our
sure
gold.
they've got other planets all around.
They need our gold. They don't need our food. The food is the last thing they need. Okay, but
Well, you said they snort gold, so I mean, shit.
well, monoatomic gold. That's a powder. It's a
So okay, Nibiru, they put this gold in the atmosphere to keep. You said to keep it warm.
well,
Is
just
that-
like when our ozone layer starts. If we shot monoatomic gold, then they fixed it.
So basically, we do the same thing with what we call the chemtrails.
No.
You know, we use
That's not chemtrails is just for hiding shit and dropping chemicals.
Well, I mean, chemtrails do have another purpose. We've also been, as
they
humans,
can change the weather.
yeah, we've been geoengineering to move weather patterns so that we can grow crops over here.
Right.
and, you know,
Exactly.
so
But
it's a
that's-
technology we've gotten from them.
From them, yeah, definitely. Yeah, we didn't come up with that shit.
And you know, you figure the cost would outweigh the benefit, but in reality, it's it's actually genius to be able to spray aluminum oxide over here.
Well, that's
and it make it
well,
rain,
and
even though it
cranium
wasn't.
too. I mean that, and it's you know what? Autism in the last 10 years, you know how much it's went up?
Oh, it's a lot of things have went up.
Okay,
I think the chemtrails is also part of the cancer problem we have.
exactly. I agree. Cancer's out of control. All right, kids are born with it. I mean, just way more than it was 50 years ago. Okay?
Oh yeah, you know, the aluminum oxide to me would harden your arteries. If you're inhaling it, it gets in your lungs. Some of it is absorbed into your bloodstream. It's going to be, and that would harden your arteries.
And it also causes dementia. It causes Alzheimer's.
Yeah,
What people don't get, okay? They say, nah, it's just a vapor trail. No, it ain't. Okay, a vapor trail is like, and evaporates. A chemtrail turns into clouds,
yeah.
and it's shit falling on you. It's not a vapor trail and a chemtrail. Even a contrail is way different.
Well, if they're mining gold, I assume.
Well, the
they're-
Illuminati
they're-
or the Rothschilds, you know how much gold they have stored away in their shit? 600 trillion. Okay.
I've heard tell also that there are 13 families in China, and those are the original ruling members of families of China that made it wealthy. That
Well,
have
those 13
they have tons and tons of gold because they control that country. They control its mining operations,
Right.
and they're
We don't have gold anymore. Who controls the gold is the royal family and the Illuminati, the Rothschilds. Okay?
well, it's just a group, but. You know,
But they're still part of that. They're part of the 13 families.
We know we're not shooting it up on our crappy little rockets. If they're taking that much gold back with them at times, I'm pretty sure they're dropping
they're
one of their
little named
boats here.
spaceships.
So how do we not know that's coming? I mean,
Well, just like Star Trek, they got
I'm,
cloaking devices.
I'm standing in my backyard with a telescope. The likelihood of me seeing it's very little, but there is a chance.
There's some people seeing it. I mean, it's getting out there, but they
You know,
can hide
why doesn't any of our big space telescopes that we have anywhere
It is
say
seeing
nothing?
it. They just ain't telling us. It is seeing it. We just don't get to know because they control all the media. They control everything, and they do some shit just to fuck with us. You know, they hide shit in plain sight. You know.
Now, I had mentioned before that I've deeply looked into the Solar Shield project, which is a big satellite with some type of mylar sails, but it's in orbit just to cover something in our sky. And we know we put a lot of money into that. We don't know what it's for. It's almost like it's a conspiracy. It's a conspiracy to say it.
That's what
but
it is.
it's out into space blocking something. Some people said that we sent it up to move in front of our sun in case we need to, like if we have an electromagnetic
solar
drop
flare.
by a pole jump.
No, it's called a solar flare, which we had one back in 1846, okay? Now, the only electronic thing we had back then was the telegraph, okay? If it hit us like it hit back then in hundreds, we wouldn't have electricity for 1 year to get back in the grid.
But perhaps they're just scaring us with what they call solar flares, just to send this thing up there and pop in front of something they don't want us to see, which happens to be Nibiru or not
they are
Nibiru,
going to hide
but
Nibiru. I agree with you there.
They're hiding Nemesis because Nemesis can be seen now.
No, Nemesis cannot be seen only with infrared because it's a dwarf dead star.
Well, there's something. Okay, so
Nibiru can be seen because it's going to be red.
I assumed it was Nemesis because it's a star. Okay, maybe it's a glow coming from Nibiru.
Right, that's where it's coming from. And when you actually see two suns in the sky, one's going to be red, one's going to be our sun.
Yes.
That's when you got to run to the hills, run.
Well, we've actually seen that a couple of times in the past few years. There's certain times of the year where we have been people, you've got webcams out there on a beach house and you look out and there's a red sun and a damn yellow sun.
There's a lot of phony shit going around, which I found out the hard way. I mean, a lot of these,
Finally listen to me.
a lot of people are putting fake shit out there, right? And I don't know why, but they're doing it. They're putting, it's called, it's not Photoshop, it's called,
Well, sometimes you put something fake like that out there so that there's people that's going to figure out that it's fake, and you can debunk it by saying, look, we done found 10 pictures out here that's fake, but it looks so real.
Supposedly right now,
They've been doing that.
Supposedly right now, in southern Italy, you can actually see Nibiru with the naked eye. Okay?
I usually don't put clothes on my eye.
I try not to either.
Shit hurts every time I get my sweater
You
on.
guys are eye nudists. You need to go to a nudist colony.
I knew this already.
I knew this. I knew this.
I knew this already.
I knew this already.
So, I mean, if they're walking among us, do we
They've been here. They
we have an
300
idea about-
Anunnaki stayed behind,
I mean,
and they're not all bad. Some of them are still loyal to the crown.
Did they have a colony on Earth?
Yeah.
Where?
Well, that's
Or is that Antarctica? I mean, there's some weird
All right, look.
shit going on down there.
Here's the thing. Okay, now they can be underwater. They can be. They could have bases, and that's why some people swear they see spaceships coming out of the ocean. They're here. Okay, they're here and they're pulling all the strings. Okay, they're running the families that are all reptilian.
Well, they had said they found an extensive set of underwater caves that start off the coast of California.
I know. I
and
saw
go
that.
underneath
I saw that too.
the state. This is a U.S. Navy release, something that you got to say, okay, that's pretty weird.
All right, you trust the U.S. Navy? I mean, in general. I mean, as a public. All right, do this. Look this up. Go to Google this. Say Navy, U.S. Navy, future map of the United States. Take a look at it.
I had seen one of those the other night.
Take a look at it. Man, we're split in half. There's no coastlines. All the coastlines are gone. Florida's gone.
I had seen one of those. I'm pretty sure it was on 4chan on Pole, and it was just like the mountains on each side of the country, and there's water in the middle.
Right. Yep. Yeah. Mississippi is totally. I mean, it's an ocean now.
Yeah.
So that in this.
And I'm pretty sure they just say screw it, hop in their ship, they go home.
Well, they got their bunkers underneath the Denver airport. It goes down like 7 miles. You know that, right?
Well, I've heard of what's called DUMBs, deep underground military bases, and we have tunnels from one side of the country to the other.
You can ride a semi. They got. If I had my phone, I'd show this to you. You can put a semi truck into a tunnel and ride it from New York to California.
Well, shit, man, they're like interstates under the ground.
Exactly.
They're huge.
Yeah.
It's not small stuff. I mean, we wonder where the energy and stuff we burn. There's got to be some advanced technology that's powering them.
I know, and that happened in 1955. Eisenhower's president. Okay. They had a meeting, a very special meeting, or secret meeting, between the Narcons, the North, which the North are the Anunnaki. They're us. They look like us, but the Narcons are lizards, and then the Greys, which you know what they are. Okay. Eisenhower, because the Greys wanted to experiment with us. They want to abduct us and just kind of probe us and shit. And so they made a deal. We'll give you this much information. And Eisenhower goes, I want it now. And they go, we can't do that. You guys will kill you. You know, they knew we'd kill ourselves. And even the Anunnaki said, we can't give you this kind of technology now. You will blow yourself up. But we will protect you from our next flyby. That's the deal they made with Eisenhower. They will protect us from their next flyby. And that, I guess that's giving us information how to, so that's what makes me think it's not going to be that hard. But Eisenhower said, no, I want it now, or I'm going to shoot you guys out of the sky if I see you.
Well,
Put it up here on the 8th.
it's, as I had said before, I think it's just one of those things that I don't understand why they hide it, but...
Well, they hide it because of panic. They don't want you to stop going to work, okay? They don't want to come. I mean, if we knew Nibiru was coming, all right, and it got out, nobody would go to work anymore.
Well, I don't...
It would,
honestly, I don't believe that. We would either, maybe people would just eradicate each other down to a small amount, but eventually you got to go to work because you got to fucking eat. You got to shit. You got to, there's things you need in life that...
No, the panic is going to override everything. People are going to kill each other. They're going to put a gun in your head to get your money, or your house, whatever. Okay, it's going to escalate way beyond just not going to work.
Well, yeah, but there's going to be groups that survive out.
You're right.
And that's
you know
why,
what group it is? It's going to be us right here.
Nibiru is not one of those things I think we pretty sure of that just pop up in the sky one day unless somebody was hiding it.
Well, they can't hide it forever.
It's been,
once it starts wrapping around the sun, they can't hide it.
Yeah, but this has been happening for decades and they've been hiding it.
That's because they can hide it now, but it's going to come apart to where we're going to see two suns in that sky. Mm-hmm. And that's when we got to fucking haul ass to right here where we're at. We're good. We're going to make it here.
Yeah.
I know this. We're self-contained.
I had looked at that once before with
you're in one of the best spots.
What
the other best spot
they called it, it was a flood simulation, and it literally, it was like the property I live on now is going to be beachfront.
You're right.
My house is going to be there, and I'm going to be living on the beach.
So is this. This is right here. This is going to be beachfront. You're right. The best place on the planet right now to be when Nibiru hits is the Ozark, if you're not going to go underground. But if you really dissect the book of Revelations, earthquakes are going to happen. And let's just say you're in a bunker and an earthquake happens and your toilet's up there now.
Well, having another star come by us is going to cause our molten core to do weird things because it's
the Ring of Fire, all the earthquake. I mean, look at all the volcanoes going off. I mean, they're not letting you know this on the news, but that shit's going on. Okay, I mean, volcanoes are fucking. It's called the Ring of Fire, and that shit is on fire. All right, earthquakes are like really crazy out of hand. And if you're in a bunker in an earthquake and your toilet's all of a sudden flipped up on the ceiling, you ain't gonna make that. That bunker is gonna be useless. And that's what the Bible says in Judges.
If you got a bunker under the ground and water appears over your head for 50 feet, you're gonna die too, even if it's airtight.
You gotta hurry.
You can't get out of it.
I'm not talking about a bunker in your backyard. I'm talking about a bunker under the Dallas airport.
Yeah.
If like an earthquake hit that's there's nothing they can do about it. I mean, it shifts it sideways.
All right. Well, I say next time.
You got a lot of those.
Let's go into the controlling factions on Earth. We've covered Nibiru today, but there's got to be humans and groups like the Illuminati and things that control everything. So let's go into that next week and kind of see where we move out from there.
All right. But going back to Nibiru, and in Revelations it says the waters turn to blood, right? Well, the planet is shooting off iron oxide, that's going to turn water red.
Yeah.
Okay, I just wanted everybody to know that.
All right.
You gotta work from the top.